I found a letter addressed to me that was written before I was born and never expected a dusty cardboard box in my parents' had to change the way I looked at my entire life. It started when my family decided to clean out the attic before selling our childhood home. Most of what we found was exactly what you would expect. Old holiday decorations, broken toys, photo albums and boxes nobody had touched in years. While sorting through a stack of faded documents, an artist sealed envelope tucked inside an old journal, what immediately caught my attention was my name written on the front. At first I thought it had to be some kind of mistake. The envelope looked decades old. The paper was yellowed and the ink had faded slightly with time. Yet there was my full name carefully written across the front. The strange part was that the date in the corner was 3 years before I was born. I stared at it for several seconds, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. How could someone have written a letter to me before I even existed? It took the envelope downstairs and asked my mother about it. The moment she saw with her expression changed. She became unusually cute. Right-hand asked where I had found it. When I told her, she slowly sat down and looked at the envelope for a long moment before saying something I never expected. That letter was written by your grandfather. I was confused. My grandfather had passed away when I was very young. I barely remembered him. I knew him mostly through family stories and old photographs. My mother explained that shortly before he died, he spent weeks writing letters to family members. He knew his health was declining and wanted to leave behind something meaningful. But then she told me the part that Vermichills. Apparently he had written letters not only for the people already in the family, but also for future grandchildren he hoped would one day exist, including me. Suddenly the envelope felt much heavier in my hands. For years it had been sitting quietly in a forgotten box, waiting for the day someone would find it. And somehow that someone was me. I carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter spanning several pages. The first line immediately stopped me. If you're reading this, then I was right to believe that our family would continue growing. Long after I'm gone, I kept treading. My grandfather introduced himself almost as if we had never met. He described where he grew up, what life was like during his childhood, and the mistakes he had made throughout his life. But this was not just a collection of stories. It felt like a conversation. He wrote about fear, failure, hope, and second chances. He admitted things she had never openly discussed with the family, including opportunities he missed and regrets she carried for years. Then he began giving advice, not generic advice either. It was surprisingly specific. He talked, about how easy it is to spend your life chasing approval from other people. He warned against measuring success only through money or status. He encouraged whoever was reading the letter to spend more time with family than they think they need, because one day those opportunities disappear forever. As I continued reading, I felt something strange. Even thought the letter had been written years before I was born. Many of the things she talked about matched struggles I was dealing with at that exact point in my life. It almost felt on point. I wrote there, may come a time when you feel lost and unsure whether you are on the right path. If that happens, remember that very few people have their lives figured out as much as they pretend to. I must have read that sentence 5 times. It was exactly what I needed to hear. Then near the end of the letter, I found something even more emotional. My grandfather explained why he decided to write to future grandchildren. He said he understood that he would never get the chance to meet all of them.